Mornings can be hectic. We get it. You're pressed for time, but you still want to stay informed. Let the connector from Boise State Public Radio do the work for you. Every weekday morning, this quick and convenient podcast delivers the top Idaho news stories you need to know, all in the time it takes to brew your coffee or start your commute. No scrolling, no searching, just hit play and get connected. Listen to the Connector Idaho Daily News wherever you get your podcasts.
More Idaho Matters now from the studios of Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Gemma Gaudette. Every year, the effects of climate change become more obvious and the need for a solution becomes more urgent. That's why the city of Boise is focusing on planting trees. Well, now, this may seem like a small step, but adding trees to our urban areas actually makes a big difference for our environment. So joining us now to talk more about this effort are Emma Stammer with the Treasure Valley Canopy Network and Danny Roop with Boise Parks and Recreation. I want to welcome both of you to the program.
Thanks, Gemma.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Emma, let me begin the conversation with you. Last year, your organization helped to plant a lot of trees through the Elaine Clegg City of Trees Challenge. Can you tell us a little bit about that challenge?
Absolutely. So the Elaine Clegg City of Trees Challenge is a tree planting initiative that started back in 2020 as a joint effort between the City of Boise, the Treasure Valley Canopy Network, and the Nature Conservancy in Idaho. And that initiative set two main goals for us. So the first that we actually met last year was planting 235,000 forest seedlings in the Boise National Forest. And that was on the burn scar of the Pioneer Fire, if you remember that. And so that was a huge step. And for perspective, 235,000 forest seedlings is in reference to 235,000 Boise residents. And the other goal within that initiative was to plant 100,000 urban trees here in Boise by 2030, which is, again, a pretty lofty goal. And 100,000 is in reference to the households in Boise. And so our goal to plant that many trees is really an effort to help Boise build community, but also resiliency as we face the increasing impacts of climate change and urban heat. And so,
Danny, why is... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Emma.
Oh, just a shout out to reaching that 235,000 goal. And we're just shy of about 20,000 urban trees planted so far here in Boise.
So you're pretty getting close there, Emma.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Danny, why is tree canopy coverage so important?
Yeah, Gemma, I mean, trees provide us with so many things, especially in the urban environment. Be it cooling, but from their shade, or air cleaning the air, cleaning wastewater that falls. They do a lot for us that we would have a really hard time replacing if we didn't have those trees. Yeah, and I think one of the things that kind of is the most stark reminder of that is the heat that we do experience in our neighborhoods. In more treed neighborhoods, we see a reduction in heat and the heat experienced by our community members. And in our less treed neighborhoods, we see that heat rise, especially the experienced heat.
So, Danny, what does Boise's tree canopy coverage currently look like?
Yeah, so we actually just completed this last year a new tree canopy assessment. That's where we use a lot of different data, but we look at the tree canopy coverage over the entire city. We hadn't done one of these since 2015 was the last time we had completed that, and that was with older data. So this looked at the period of time between 2013 and 2021 to give us an updated picture of the tree canopy across the city. And we do see discrepancies, disparities between our older, more established neighborhoods that have more established tree canopy and our newer neighborhoods that have maybe less established tree canopy. And those are all things that people can look at for themselves. We have published the results of that tree canopy assessment. Those can be found on the Treasure Valley Canopy Network's website if anybody's interested.
So, Emma, how many trees then altogether was your organization able to plant in 2024?
Yeah, so back in 2024, which seems so far now, we planted almost 1,600 trees, which is a lot. We also like to point out these are big trees. They're trees that, are about 5 to 10 feet tall, take a couple
Mm.
volunteers to plant at a time, so they make a big impact when they hit the ground. And we had almost 200 volunteers help us plant those trees, along with City of Boise staff and Canopy Network staff as well.
So, Emma, you talked about how big these trees are, those 1,600. So, what about seedlings? Do you do that as well?
Yeah, so the seedlings, the goal that we reached last year, planting 235,000, those were planted by Forest Service staff and contractors. So we were able to work with the Nature Conservancy to help coordinate those getting in the ground. And of course, we all celebrated by planting the last couple together in celebration last year.
So, Danny, I want to go back to the Treasure Valley Canopy Network's newest assessment report, if we can. And Emma, you jump in here too. But I'm curious, how has canopy coverage changed over the years? I mean, we can think of our more established neighborhoods, right? Like the North End, where you just go and you see all of these trees. But then, like, let's say you go out to like Harris North. I don't see hardly any trees in that brand new development in the foothills.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for bringing it back to that, Gemma. So we did, like I said, it was a study over the years of 2013 to 2021, and we did thankfully see a rise in our canopy coverage citywide over that period of time, with a net addition of about 1,200 acres of canopy added to the city. So that was the good news. We did, that was net. So we had some gains and some losses. We did lose about 1,300 acres, and we gained more than that, obviously, to make the net increase. But we really look at those losses, where those areas where we lost trees, and the reasons that
Mhm.
we lose those trees. Because if we can curb the loss of canopy coverage across the city through proper planning and maintenance and investment in our urban canopy, we can really make a big impact over potentially this next 10-year period.
So I have about 1 minute left. So very quickly, Emma, what is your goal for 2025?
Yeah, our goal is to get more folks helping us plant more trees. And there's a couple ways that we can do that. Boise residents can sign up to receive a free or discounted tree for their home. And you can find that on our website at tvcanopy.net. And we're also looking for more volunteers. We're looking for trained volunteers that we train up called Boise Tree Captains. And again, you can find that info on our website.
Well, I want to thank both of you so much for this conversation. We've been speaking with Emma Stammer with the Treasure Valley Canopy Network and Danny Roop with Boise Parks and Recreation. We've been discussing the importance of trees, in particular in our urban areas. And that'll do it for this episode of Idaho Matters. Thanks so much for listening. And just a reminder, you can find all of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts.
If you like podcasts like this, explore more from the Boise State Public Radio podcast family. There you'll find a mix of daily news, Idaho Voices, and in-depth series on a wide range of topics. I'm talking wild horses, political scandals, sustainable ranching, and militia groups in a post-January 6th world. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search Boise State Public Radio to find what Idaho's NPR station has in store for you.